Hi, everyone. My name is Chantel Baca, and thank you for joining me this evening for my presentation on differentiated instruction for middle school ELA inclusion classrooms. So, one of the things I would say as far as moving towards differentiated instruction is step one would be to take really an honest look at yourself as far as your teacher profile. All right. I think that understanding what our strengths, weaknesses are as a teacher, what our tendencies or go tos, what our which ways we're comfortable, what tasks that we're comfortable in doing. Those things are very informative as far as how to approach a classroom that we have been assigned with, or group of students that we are tasked to work with. And so, again, that self reflection of a teacher profile is very important. Some ways to do that would be 16 personalities exploration, personality profiles, personality as a fruit. There's a variety of tools and resources that you can find on some reputable websites that can guide you through that process of, just getting a deeper look. And because understanding our teaching style in relation to student learning styles can help create positive student relationships. And so those are the benefits and why you would want to consider something like that. The next step would be to create student profiles. Getting to know your students obviously is an important part of school, but it's most importantly an important part of differentiating. Some vital information are needed in order to differentiate appropriately and effectively. So you can differentiate instruction based on learner profile, based on a student's readiness, and then based on interests. Learner profile would include a student's strengths, skills, interests, and then you can make recommendations about what is needed to support learning. Once you have your learner profiles, your student profiles, you're able to make those recommendations. You're able to identify what by natural progression what is needed, an effective classroom layout. Perhaps it's timetabling or supports that can really help that student succeed academically. And of course, building that learner profile will help you to make a great connection with your students. Readiness, differentiating by readiness would mean that we are differentiating either the process, the product, or the content of what we're learning in class. And so, differentiating by process would mean that we're providing materials at various levels of rigor and and difficulty. We may identify some more like a more detailed mini lesson that a student may be missing some skills, some more foundational skills. And so we could conduct some mini workshops and to target those skills that are needed to help prime the student for advanced learning. Product would be tailoring assignments and creating tiered activities, but most importantly, that they're respectful tasks based on what a student would be able to do. Content would be providing organizers, note taking, maybe texts at various reading levels, flexible groupings that are based on knowledge and skills. Something that I like to do with an ELA in a special education classroom, general education inclusion setting, is computer based intervention programs that are, they're very effective in tailoring instruction based on the student's readiness. They also have some questionnaires at the beginning that can help, or that can identify students' interests, and they really personalize and tailor their material based on on each student. And so those are really great ways. Some programs out there that are great would be Reading Plus, Read 180. Lexia is one for a lower level. I'm in the middle grades. However, I have students that are at a very low reading level, and Lexia has been a great program to assist them with where they're at. And what is another one? No Red Ink is a very engaging, free website as well that allows students to choose choose maybe certain artists, popular artists or famous people that they like, or maybe certain sports. And so then throughout the lessons, they'll, they will insert whatever options they selected at the beginning, just to really tailor it to their likes and interests. And so sometimes it makes those assignments a little bit more engaging. Um, and then, of course, differentiating based on interests, providing those interest cards. Some of those programs, as I was just mentioning, they have that built into their system. But of course, when you're in the actual classroom and conducting some instruction or getting to know your students, cards are a great way to have students share their interests and maybe find a connection to the content through their interests. Learning preference cards allow students to list 3 or 4 of their own interests outside of school, and they even have the opportunity to rate their abilities in the subject or skill, and they can communicate a style by which they learn best. Student profiles are another useful tool completed by a parent or a guardian. But it's certainly always best to involve the child. And I do think that just overall, having an ability to connect with a student in a positive way and create those positive connections is a win-win for everyone. So even though it may not be exactly your style, but identifying what each of your style is, meaning your student style, but then your own style as well, and then finding some avenues for connecting the two or bridging the two together will give you some great success in the classroom for each student. Okay. Tools for creating a learner profile would be a student preference survey, maybe student profile placement, and of course, just conversations, good old conversations. Maybe taking a minute during homeroom time and you connect with one student at a time, one student per day, where you have to sit down and maybe just have them connect with you in some way. Maybe that would be an awkward thing, and it's not that at all. Like you have to be able to provide avenues for students to comfortably share whatever it is that they may want to. And maybe just providing a box that they can jot something down on an index card that they'd like to share with you, and maybe keeping a journal. But classroom applications for special educators, as far as an ELA setting, group group tiering is a great way to differentiate, when you're differentiating the content, the process, or the products. You can group students and have rotations throughout where you're targeting specific skills, and you can group them by readiness, by interests, by learner profile. But these are really great ways to deepen and provide some solid individualized instruction for each student. Thank you so much.